Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your hosts, the Excellence of Execution, Kyle Charles,
Wait,
and
okay. I thought we were gonna do super intros,
oh, we
and you
could, but
got
I
to
couldn't
a pro
think of one
wrestling.
on my head, so I went with that. Sounds kind of superhero-ish.
Oh, okay. So, because I was gonna do the Master of Absolute Zero,
Oh, there you go.
Wai Chung, but I was like, wait a minute, do I have to think of a wrestling nickname now?
Because I was meant to think of like another one, but we used the other two already. So I was like, I
Fair
can't
enough.
remember
Fair enough.
any of the others'
Um,
monikers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and as you can tell, we're going to be continuing our discussion on the Arrowverse, but particularly in this episode, we'll be speaking about the Scarlet Speedster, the fastest man alive.
yeah,
The Blur was from Smallville, right?
yeah.
What was
No. I think he was the Central City Blur or something like that.
Central City Blur?
Just for a little bit of the season one, where they were trying to work out his, before he
Became the Flash.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we'll be talking about him and his
Yeah.
6 seasons, going on to 7 seasons series.
Oh, we'll just keep it contained to the
It's what we know. Yeah.
the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing beyond. We may make some speculations about season
Yeah.
7, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny? When you watch the pilot episode of this season, now
Yeah.
I'm not counting the Arrow crossover thing where Barry Allen appeared in Arrow for 2 episodes as the proper star of the pilot.
Yeah.
The proper pilot is actually a pretty good setup for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and by itself, it introduces quite a lot of people, his team, what they're going to do, his abilities, and the villain, like a decent villain for him to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you got his, what's going on. Obviously, him and Iris going off with Eddie Thorne and all that stuff.
Yeah, Eddie Thorne.
It kind of prepped the season for what's going on, like the man in the yellow suit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, as a pilot, singly by itself, actually was pretty well executed, I thought.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode of The Flash.
Yeah. I mean,
even I thought the CG was going to be like garbage, but it was actually pretty good for a TV show at that time as well.
I actually have to say, I really think the first season was quite great, actually.
Yeah. I have no complaints about the first season.
As you know, some, I won't say necessarily filler, but is the subplot of the man in the yellow suit.
Yeah.
Who was the Reverse Flash, not Professor Zoom.
No.
But all that led to the season finale, as we're skipping through everything actually right now, but all that led to the season finale where everything came to head and you're like, just Barry, just destroy him, destroy the Reverse Flash. You got to take him out, even though he didn't have the powers and he couldn't.
Yeah.
You're like, go on, Barry, go on, do it, and he clearly can't. But you're like, at that moment, when he watched his mum die again.
Yeah, that was quite sad.
Just get your revenge.
Yeah, you could change the whole timeline right now if you wanted to, but
yeah. But I thought that was really well done. Like finale episode, led to that moment.
Yeah.
I think a couple of standout episodes in season 1 as well were episode 4 with Captain Cold.
Oh yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'd say all the Captain Cold episodes were pretty good.
Yeah, they're great.
But especially the first one because it introduced him and how calculating he was.
Yeah.
And then what he would do when he was on the train, just ice up the tracks and the whole thing was going to crash just so he could get away. And he knew that the Flash would try and rescue all those people. But then I think later on in the season, it became less of a
murderer.
Yes. Yeah. Even though he's still a charismatic character and entertaining, he just became, less serious and a bit more kind of goody.
Yeah, you could see there was obviously realizing that he's sort of like a runner. He's a star character. That's why I think they started going towards him being more goodish. So it's set up for when he leaves for
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I have to say as well, when they had I think in the later season when they had their truce and stuff. It kind of rang true to how they developed the character later, where Barry's like, man, Cold, you got to cut this stuff out, yeah?
Like, dude.
Cold's like, no, Barry, you can't tell me what to do. And he's like, oh, Cold, there's stuff you can do other than being,
evil.
Your traditional bad guy and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, well, maybe, Barry, maybe.
I also think because at the time, Captain Cold was a part of the Justice League in the DC Comics. I think they sort of used that as well.
Well, yeah. The thing is, though, I guess what was good is he was always begrudging. He wasn't like totally good guy.
Yeah.
And he'd kind of do things pragmatically as true to his character. So it was like, yeah. He's not a cruel good guy. He just kind of is on the good side, being a bad guy.
Yeah. He just happens of circumstances. Like, okay, if I do this and be good, I won't get punched in the face that much because no one likes getting punched in the face.
Yeah. You know what? I thought initially in season 1 where Tom Cavanaugh was the dude in the wheelchair, Harrison Wells. I had thought maybe, because it was kind of obvious when you look at it, that he was going to be the reverse. The reverse Flash.
Yeah, there was hints to it, but
you
didn't think he was going to be Eobard Thawne.
Yeah. He had some sort of secret or something like that, right? Because he got up his wheelchair and he's being shady. Now, I thought, wouldn't it be a neat twist if he was that... Okay, so at the beginning of the Flash, Barry finds Thawne.
Yeah.
Eobard Thawne, and they go into the past where Thawne kills Barry's mum, right?
Yeah.
And then something happens, like they cut off from the Speed Force or something like that. So I thought, okay, maybe if Tom Cavanagh's Harrison Wells was Barry who got trapped in the past, and then he's trying to recreate the future so he can get back to his future. I was like, okay. But obviously, that's not the case. But I was like, they cast him look kind of similar-ish. It could be an older version of him. And it would have been like a neat twist that he was a future Flash that was not corrupted necessarily, but it's like, I got to get back to my future. Because they did the thing at the end of season 1 where that Flash disappeared because he altered the timeline.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. So I was like, maybe he's a remnant, whatever. But it turned out it was Eobard Thawne, which was, okay, fair enough. But it was a more obvious way to go.
Yeah. I think the problem, like, the way your idea sounds pretty good. Yeah. I like it. But I think because of the high stature of, like, the Reverse Flash to, like, Flash fans.
Yeah.
They would get, like, angry about that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd get very murky as well, because then you'd have to... Why is there an evil Barry already in the first season?
Yeah.
But no, it's just like, I thought, okay, maybe. Because I was like... Because Tom Cavanaugh can look like an older version of Grant Gustin.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But general, like, season 1 was really good, yeah? You agree with that?
I enjoyed season 1, really did. Yeah.
And the fact that how they used the... What was that? The device that exploded.
They make reference to it all the time. I've literally forgotten.
That thing
that
then created all these other metahumans made sense, because it was like, okay, fine, it kind of spawned from here, and these people just didn't happen to have their abilities until this point, because they just used the X-Men style mutation as an excuse to create all these villains. It was like,
particle accelerator.
Yeah. So it was kind of, it was like, okay, it's a cheap way to do this, but it's kind of an easy way to do this, because then you'd have to come up with a singular individual origins.
Yeah.
As you do in the comics, and then be like, get a bit, we have to explain this, that, and the other.
Yeah. With an explosion, they give everyone powers, don't explain nothing.
like X-Men style, isn't it? Just you have.
You have powers now. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. And I did like it throughout the seasons that the man in the yellow suit would just constantly not pimp out. What am I talking about?
Yeah, different.
He'd pimp slap the Flash all the time.
Yeah,
like he's just too good for you.
He's always one step ahead.
Yeah, and he obviously knows all his abilities and all that stuff. It's like, the hero's on the back foot, and it's all about him getting better.
Yeah,
and he doesn't even get like, by the end of this first season, he still doesn't get good enough.
No,
so that's
he's
good.
still learning.
Yeah. I did like. Okay, so I like that also. Gorilla Grodd.
Oh yeah.
Telepathic gorilla. I'm like, whoa, who would have thought? Same with King Shark. It's like the special effects they were doing, like coming up with these characters which are special effects heavy. You thought, okay, maybe they try to hide them in the shadows or something like that.
Or just not use the characters whatsoever because of limitations. But no, they.
Props to them.
Yeah, big props. I was shocked when you first saw Gorilla Grodd. I was like, oh wow, they're actually using him. King Shark, you sort of can get around because he's not really that big of a character.
Yeah,
but
tell you what is kind of a bit awkward is how does time work in this timeline, right? In the Flash, because sometimes they go to the future, and they come back and split to the past, Terminator style.
Yeah.
Right, and then sometimes they go to the future and alter or the past or whatever, and he'd alter it like it's Back to the Future style.
Yeah.
And because when Eddie shoots himself at the end, spoilers, right? But when Reverse Flash is just destroying standard Flash, Barry Allen.
Yeah.
You Bar Thorne's descendant Eddie shoots himself in the heart to end his family tree. So it's like, well, hold on, if he kills himself now and he's affected the future there,
wouldn't it affect every other future?
Yeah. I mean, hasn't Barry hasn't U-Boat Thorne come back and affected the timeline already because he killed Flash's mum who never died in the original timeline?
Yeah.
So like, okay, one solution though. Solution, the guy was like, why Eddie didn't have to kill himself. He could have just castrated himself. And then the other comments were, I'd rather kill myself than castrate myself. Yeah. Like, fair enough.
But it's, like you're saying, like, they always have that problem when it comes to anything to do with time travel.
Yeah.
It just muddies itself. You're like, but if he does this...
I think the oddity is, if you choose one, you kind of stick to it, but they kind of do a lot of back and forth thing.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you could say, well, we don't know how the Speed Force works. Sometimes it does this, sometimes it does that. It's
a living thing, man. It does what it wants.
Yeah, exactly. Even though we're making that up between ourselves, rather than that's what they're saying.
Yeah, we're just filling in the dots.
What did you think of season 2? Zoom as a villain. Well, no. What do you think of season 2? And then we'll go to Zoom as a villain afterwards.
Oh, season 2. This is where like I said with Arrow, that was the same time I sort of fell off.
Right.
Because of trying to keep up with both shows on a weekly basis, I just gave up for a bit. But then I went back to watch it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. Like, the introduction of Earth 2.
Yeah.
The Hunter Zolomon stuff.
I tell you what, I did like the alternate versions of the characters they did have when they visited Earth 2.
Yeah.
That was cool. I didn't like Zoom so much. I mean, Jay Garrick, the fake version of Jay Garrick, was pretty cool. But then when he turned out to be also Zoom, and then when Zoom kills Jay Garrick, and then he takes off the mask and it's actually the Hunter Zolomon, who is Jay Garrick, who is Zoom. Like, what? Why did he kill himself?
I had the exact thing.
Okay, they wanted to fake out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same thing. I was like, wait, what? How many people was this guy now? I'm so confused.
Yeah. I would have bet. I think it could have been better if they were doing that storyline where the
Velocity 8.
Sorry?
Velocity 8, yeah.
Increases speed, and Zoom was losing his speed to some degree.
Yeah.
Because he kept on trying to boost it with that.
And like Velocity 9.
Yeah, it started messing him up.
Yeah.
But when later on, was it Inertia? Well, no, Inertia. Who's the girl that had it? Took it?
Jessie Quick.
No, the other one. Trajectory.
Oh, yeah.
So when she started doing it, she kind of started having a split personality or something like that,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. Well, you could have just done. Zoom took so much of it that he actually physically split into two beings, like the split personality separated. And then you could have had him kill Jay Garrick while still being Zoom.
And none would have been the wiser or confused. Yeah.
Yeah. I do dislike it as well when shows do this all the time, but when someone's telling a flashback and you see it, you'd kind of assume that that flashback actually happened.
Yeah.
But when Jay Garrick's telling the story of him fighting Zoom and you see it happening, you're like, all right, okay, that's what happened in that world. Except that
it didn't.
It was a lie.
Yeah.
Like, why don't show it to us then? If you're going to say it's a lie later on, just have him say it, and it wouldn't be as like it wouldn't as though the creators of the show are trying to fake us out by feeding us the actual lie that never happened. You know?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Also, I was thinking, Zoom in the comics, Hunter Zolomon's Zoom in the comics, uses his speed is created by a wormhole that he went into, sort of some sort of, I don't want to say a separate timeline, but he runs fueled by time.
He controls time rather than speed.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that'd be neat, actually, because then the Flash has got to get faster.
Yeah.
To match a guy who can manipulate time, essentially.
No.
And how can you... Then he could do the thing like in the Blitz storyline with Wally West, where he absorbs the speed of the other speedsters.
Yeah.
To match Zoom.
Yeah, but
they didn't do that. They kind of just...
He's a speedster as well,
but he's not as connected to the Flash as a Reverse Flash. It's like it's just a lower tier version almost of the same guy.
Yeah. They should have, like you said, with Zoom. Yeah. Should have stick more to the comic version of Zoom, even like with his origin and stuff, because there's more. You have more connection to the character because, he was Wally's friend.
Yeah,
and then
in this it would have been Barry's friend that worked.
Barry's friend. They could have changed that around, but
a criminal profiler. Yeah,
And then he gets pissed because he wouldn't go back in time to use a treadmill or whatever to go back in time, and then he tries it and it explodes and becomes.
It could have been like introduced the guy. I mean, ideally, probably could have just introduced him in parts of season 1 and then gone. But even if you introduced him at the beginning of season 2, you had all those episodes to work towards that. And I don't think it was bad or anything like that. It's just that they had other options and they kind of just went for one that
was simple.
Yeah, exactly. But there were good elements in it.
Yeah, because that's when you first meet. That's when you sort of find out about Killer Frost, isn't it? Season 2.
I think so.
When you Earth 2 Killer Frost.
Yeah. And I did like at the end, obviously, the man in the mask was Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
The actual Jay Garrick.
Real Jay.
Signifying, of course, there's other Earths as well.
Yeah.
And then how he got his helmet kind of made sense as well.
Yeah, because he was in the war and all that rubbish, isn't it?
No. How Jay Garrick got his helmet from Zoom.
Yeah.
It was meant to be Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was neat. And the fact as well, by the way, you didn't mention this, that John Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash in the 90s TV series, plays Henry Allen, also Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But then he also plays Barry Allen as well. But it's cool.
Yeah,
it's the same guy.
Yeah.
And funny enough, they say that Garrick is the maiden name of Henry Allen's mother. So if it went that route, he could have been Garrick as well, kind of. So it's all kind of connected.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's quite smart doing it that way.
I obviously they introduced a new version. I like kind of the different versions of Harrison Wells that get introduced.
Yeah, like Nash Wells.
Yeah.
HP Wells.
Yeah, Sherlock Wells. Tom Cavanaugh, man, they just like throw stuff at him and he just
runs with it. It's like, I could do that. And they're all different. It's not like a cop-out where it's literally the same character.
Yeah, different body language, different phrases and accents. The way that his stature is when he's a different version of the character.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And also when he's Harrison Wells and you were born as Harrison Wells.
Yeah, 2 different characters.
Mm.
Oh, man.
What did you think of season 3?
Season 3.
The Sabotage storyline.
I like that one, even though I see everyone's complaints with it.
Right. So I like the idea of the Flashpoint changing, like when he went and saved his mum at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
And he was living in a Flashpoint world.
Yeah.
And then when he had to change the world back, I know they probably should have stayed a bit longer in the Flashpoint world. So then the stakes are high for him when he has to change the world back.
Yeah.
But once he started changing the world back and there was remnants left over of those people that did have like the Rival and Wally West Flash.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, this is cool because it's just kind of bleeding over. Makes sense. But then when Sabotage turned out to be evil Barry, they hold off that reveal for so long. It's like, he has to be someone that's part of the team.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you show clues as to who his identity might be early in the season?
Yeah. It's one of those things, looking back, like you said, when you're watching it, you don't think about it. But then you go back in hindsight, you're like, they kind of telegraphed it was him all along.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, there's no hints to anyone else it could have been.
Yeah. There was this line, by the way, people picked up, where Barry had the first fight with Sabotage, and then Sabotage said, "I'm the future Flash."
Yeah.
Like, okay. But some people were like, oh, so he's saying he's the future version of the Flash. They kind of picked it up from that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
But it's good how he did it. It was kind of subtle, not obvious. Like, I am, and like, pause on the word, I am the future Flash. Because you would have kind of gathered it from that. You said like in a normal sentence, like, I am the future Flash. You're like,
I did like it as well. There's basically a team up to take him out at the end as well. So it wasn't just simply Barry just doing the job.
No, it was him and other Barry.
Yeah.
Was another 2 Barrys that sacrificed it? No, that was how they got to Sabotage. The other 2.
What I meant was though, at the finale where I think it was had Jesse Quick in there, G. Garrick in there, and all the other team members also help out.
Sabotage.
Yeah,
because he's different from the comic.
Did you ever read the comic storyline Dead Heat?
Yeah.
No, it was Dead Heat. Yeah.
I think so.
The Sabotage storyline.
I'm not too familiar with it.
Oh, okay. It's actually really good. Sabotage was creating the Speed Cult-ish.
Yeah.
And he was a World War II pilot.
Okay. Yeah.
Got shot by lightning. Then I think he kind of tried to be one with the Speed Force, and then he kind of warped into the future.
Yeah.
Where he came back from from where he was. He like just jumped like a 50-year jump.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Who's siphoning off the Speed Force? I'm the only Speed God."
Okay.
And then he's like, obviously, Wally West has the biggest connection to Speed Force. He's like, I'm going to go and eliminate him. Then in that case, but he was a nobody. They didn't give him a huge background, didn't give him a name or anything like that. Just like the basics.
Yeah.
It was good. Like they didn't need to kind of tell you who he was. He's just like a cult leader.
Yeah, you don't really need to go back and to establish that or anything really. Just say, he's cult.
Yeah, and I think that if they did the true Sabotage in the comics here, it would have been a new storyline. Rather than being a time remnant of Barry, but well,
kind of connected because there's both sort of involved time.
Yeah.
It
was a bit odd as well. I think that bulky suit was just blatantly to try and hide who he was.
Yeah, his Megatron suit.
Yeah.
And this season also had Dr. Alchemy in it.
Yes.
Yeah, had a dude from Harry Potter.
Yeah. Julian, what's his name?
It is Julian. I thought it'd be right here, but it's not. 2 seconds.
Okay.
It's Julian. I feel bad for not knowing his name.
Yeah. Julian Albert.
There you go. Yeah. Mouth Lloyd. Yeah.
Yeah. Julian Albert is the guy's name, but I thought the actor's name. What's his name?
He is Tom Felton.
That's it.
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't think he was particularly badly cast in the role. Actually, he did pretty well.
No.
I think they kind of made it obvious though that he was Dr. Alchemy because there's some things going funny with him.
Yeah. At first, I thought he could have
point.
been Saboteur.
Sorry, I spoke over you. What did you say?
No, at first, I thought he was going to be Saboteur. Saboteur,
Yeah,
don't want to say it weird like that, but...
Yeah, that would have been neat if he was, but not that... It wasn't neat that he was Dr. Alchemy.
Yeah.
It just was like, okay, right, then if he's Dr. Alchemy, and they haven't told the Saboteur who is kind of like, all right, well, yeah, he must be one of the Flash team.
Yeah. Was it season 2 or 3 they introduced... No, they introduced Wally in season 2, right?
Sorry?
They introduced Wally in season 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But he didn't really do anything.
No. He was background character.
Yeah, and then became more relevant in season 3.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about how he... So when he was having visions of him with the speed powers, that was the remnant of the Flashpoint world. And then he tried to endanger himself to activate the speed... whatever conversion. I don't know what he was trying to do exactly. He thought if he had the powers over there...
He can get powers here.
Yeah. A bit weird. It was like, what are you endangering yourself for, man?
You're like,
Stop
dude.
Yeah.
Death is permanent. You know, this is a comic book world where literally you die and you're back in like the next 2 chapters of a story. But
I also think, not that I dislike what they did with Wally West, just more of there's storylines you could have done later on whenever Grant Gustin, Barry Allen dies or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then they could have done the old Return of Barry Allen storyline.
Yeah.
In the comics where after Barry's dead from Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then Wally's been the Flash for like in real time about almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Then Barry Allen comes back, and Wally's suspicious of him, but then it turns out he was right to be suspicious because it wasn't Barry, it was Professor Zoom who came.
Of course it was.
Yeah, Zoom came back. He had his face altered as Barry because he idolized Barry, and he was like, "Oh, I want to, be your sidekick and everything like that." But he came back in time, not quite at the right timeline. And then we saw in the Flash Museum that Barry, his own idol, was destined to kill him.
Yeah.
He had like mental breakdown,
as you do,
and he goes, "I know, I am Barry Allen. I must be Barry Allen." Then he kind of just like really thought he was Barry Allen. So when Barry Allen started doing shady stuff, and Wally West is like, "My idol's going a bit crazy."
Yeah,
and he finally has to fight him
and murder him.
No, he had to fight him.
And but
Zoom, because at this point, Wally West was not as fast as Barry Allen, nowhere near as good as well. And he's just like, well, now he's got to take down the most deadly nemesis of his own idol.
Yeah,
and it helped him with his character progression in the comics at that point as well. But they won't be able to do that storyline now.
No, I don't think. I think with the TV show, I don't think they never intend for Wally to become the Flash anyway.
Yeah, but it was like, what was the point in having him there then?
Because people are like, "Where's Wally?" And then there you go.
All right. Well, at that point in time as well, I think they removed him from the comics also.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, you're throwing shade at Wally West. Why? Why are you doing this to him?
Yeah. Oh, poor Wally. He never got a broadcast.
But it was good that he splintered off and joined later on. He splintered off and joined the Legends of Tomorrow. It's like kind of not necessarily, I wouldn't say saved him, but gave him something to do.
Yeah.
Because in the series he was in, the guy who is mentoring him is better than him and everything. So it's like, well, where you gonna have a speedster that just have -1 statistics of your main character?
Yeah, and it kind of comes redundant because like you can get away with like on an Arrow, you can have 2 guys with arrows because that's all they do. You know what I mean? But what's the point of having a team of 2 guys that can run at the speed of light or whatever? It's kind of you really made the other guy pointless.
Yeah. What did you think of a season? Oh, any other comments on season 3 before we shift on to season 4?
I like the end, like you said. I liked that the ramifications of the Flashpoint thing crossed over into Arrow because that made John Diggle he had a daughter, then changed to a son, right? or vice
yeah,
versa.
like that,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Even though they rectified at the end of Arrow, but
yeah. The end of after the crisis, it's a son and a daughter.
yeah,
fair enough.
But then that kind of confuses. If Green Arrow and the Canaries happened, that kind of made that confusing because in that future there's no daughter.
Well, no. You never see her. Doesn't mean she doesn't exist.
I know, but they never mention her because they mention JJ and Connor.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you say, hey, Annabeth's a sister? Just like a throwaway line, but the show never got picked up, so we will never know if they would have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All I'm saying is, like in comics, if we don't see the body,
they're not dead.
They're not dead. Even though sometimes we do see the body and they're not dead. Whatever. If they don't mention it, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. That's all I can say.
Time bullet. So yeah. Captain America.
What do you think of a season? Oh, I have to say as well. Julian Albert was only in one season, right? Or was
it written out in season 4.
And I was like, okay, but that's a bit odd, only because when Barry travels 7 years into the future to work out a way to beat Sabotage, Julian Albert's still part of the team in the future.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, did they only hire the guy for one season? If so, why do you show the flash forward with him in it? Yeah.
But then that future might not exist now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do have to say, by the way, as we're mentioning that, the costume in season 1 was pretty decent, right?
Yeah, it was okay.
I did like it better in season 2 where they changed the white lightning bolt, but they were saying, they did point out, because Barry saw himself in the future with the white lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Did Cisco change it because he initially wanted to change it, it just happened to change it, or he changed it because Barry saw the future and said, "Oh, you know what? My suit has a white lightning bolt in the future." You know,
I think that probably was it. Like, yeah.
And I did like how when he went to that flash forward in the future, 7 years in the future, and the Flash had a different suit, like the same, but with the yellow lines across
lines,
it.
Yeah. Like
and after that was the main suit he had in season 4, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I did like that season 4 suit. I don't know. I think they should have stuck with it. I think season 4 had the best suit, and season 6 also had a pretty good suit.
They change it every season, haven't they?
I think season 2 and 3 had the same suit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But after that, it's like they change.
Yeah, because season 5 had the what was odd about the season 5 suit? It had the helmet.
Yeah.
But the rest of the suit was, I don't want to say skin tight because it wasn't, but it
was like a onesie.
Yeah. So it just looked offset. I'm glad to change the helmet in season 6 to be like a more fabric helmet that worked with the rest of the suit. But other than that, season 4. What did you think of the Thinker?
The Thinker. Season 4 had its moments. For me, season 4 felt like the longest one.
Okay, no, I have to say, I do admire the change of not a standard Speed Force villain, right?
Yeah. Because at that point, every villain was a Speed Force guy.
Yeah. I did like the introduction of Elongated Man.
Yeah.
Because he added a little bit of different dynamics to the team.
Yeah. And especially how they brought him in, like he was a dick, and then he grew through the series.
Yeah. But I don't think the Thinker was a spectacular villain at all. Though, when they used the bus crash, not the bus, the people, though, okay, at the end of season 3, Barry ran to the future-ish, ran into the Speed Force, and it caused some sort of trouble.
Yeah, an explosion or something, and it,
Oh, no, that's
when he ran back it through to our time, well, normal time,
so
it created a speed bubble or something, and it affected people on the train.
Yeah, when they brought him back at the beginning of season 4,
yeah,
and then everyone on that the near the vicinity, which was on the bus, got metahuman abilities.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, that's fair enough. That makes sense because then you also once again, like in season 1, you kind of shortcut have everyone individually create abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and there was this reason that the Thinker was going after every single one on the bus. It kind of made sense.
Yeah.
I just didn't think he was a great villain. I was waiting for a season where the rogues would group together and become like the final villains of the season, like the entire group. That didn't happen though.
Nah, it never would have, because at this point, all the rogues are pretty much good guys.
Oh yeah, it's true. Oh well, no, yeah. I mean, no. Captain Cold and Heatwave went off to do villains, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he still had Weather Wizard, not the top, the Mirror Master, and
no, Mirror Master didn't come until season 6.
Oh, damn it! The top. Count. No, who was in the Rogues then? They must have counted some.
They had Golden Glider.
Yeah.
I think they had Weather Wizard and Trickster, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah. And Pied Piper.
Yeah, but he's a good guy now.
He switched allegiances, but when Barry changed the timeline.
Yeah.
But no, I was waiting for a season at some point, because then they could, if they were going to do like the season where the rogues are the actual villains, they could have started introducing certain bits by, like, say for example they changed the re-altered season 4, and the season 4 finale was, he's going to fight all the rogues. That'd have been pretty neat, but like you say, Captain Cold was just too charismatic. They just shoved him into Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, same with Heatwave.
Yeah. Not really much other things to say about season 4.
To me, I think season 4 didn't get good until the end, when the Thinker starts taking all their powers.
Yeah.
And he starts living each of their bodies, doesn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
That's when it started getting better. Like when he killed the woman who had all the lucky powers, had luck on her side. Yeah. I felt bad. I was like, oh, she.
I did also like how his wife was helping him.
Yeah.
And then, later on in the season, she was having second thoughts about helping him. And then you find out later on she was doing recordings.
Yeah.
To remind herself about what was going on, but he kept on wiping her mind, and she kept on repeating the same thing over and over at a certain point. When she did finally see herself saying it, she's like,
"Wait a minute."
Yeah, and it was too late by that point, because he was like, "I don't even need you anymore."
Yeah, he kills her, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's when it started ramping up. I thought, oh, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then this season's when Excess comes, isn't it?
Well, actually, I think she made an appearance in season 3.
She made like random sporadic. She made an appearance at the end of season 3.
Was it the end or in the middle?
Sure, or near the end of it, because she kept them being like the coffee bean and all that random places.
Yeah. I did like how she was sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
But I would also say she was significant. Like when there was interactions, it was like she wasn't just a random citizen. There was clearly something going on.
Yeah. It wasn't like randomly, like all the scenes she was in, like you're saying, it made sense. You could tell was like she's sort of looking for a moment to say, "Hey, you're my mum and dad," sort of thing.
But it was it was like not a 2-season storyline, but it ran long until she actually did make a full-on season regular appearance. I was like, okay, that's good. That's good. You dropped the seeds there.
Yeah, it was like, oh, long-term story planning. I like
that.
Yeah.
And you also point out that there was the episode that Iris got the speed powers.
Oh yeah.
Which then they gave her a purple and white suit.
Yeah.
Which then Excess kind of wears a slightly altered version of it.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like.
What did you what do you think of season 5?
Season 5. I can't remember. Let me quickly remember what that season is. That's no, Bloodworks number 6.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think he had it like because it was basically Nora.
Yeah.
Who's Excess.
Yeah.
Trying to not be odd in her relationship that she was building with her mum and dad, who haven't had her yet.
Yeah.
And did feel as well towards the end of it that the Reverse Flash started taking over the show.
Yeah.
because he was behind all of her, giving her the abilities, teaching her kind of to how to use the Speed Force.
Yeah.
In the future that she came back from.
So he could alter things to stop him being stuck in that cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cicada.
Yep. Cicada
was the initial villain of this season, and then later on he was not to say. So the male Cicada.
Oh yeah.
I think about halfway through the season they did him in.
Yeah.
And then his daughter from the future continues as Cicada, and which is partially why Nora went back.
Yeah.
And then the last couple episodes, Harrison Wells was like, "Oh no, I'm the true villain of the series."
Yeah, Cicada wasn't really bad. Well, we technically, depends what you class as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the whole.
To be fair though, not to say he keeps on smothering us with his presence, the Reverse Flash, because when he is there, he is actually relevant.
Yeah,
and there was hints for the entire season that he was up to something with the special piece of metal that Cicada has that nullifies abilities.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, fair enough. And he only became the main antagonist by the last 2 episodes. By that time, they kind of wrapped up the Cicada storyline.
Yeah, it was long done by that point, wasn't it?
Yeah. Though they did a very, I don't want to say an odd episode. Okay, the King Cold, King Shark
versus Gorilla God
episode. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Nuts. But fair enough. They went for it.
Yeah, I was like, all right, go all out.
yeah, exactly. That was ambitious, right there.
Oh, I totally forgot about that episode.
Yeah. I do kind of like they point out as well. They introduced Godspeed here.
Yeah.
August Hart. Well, no, hold on. We don't actually. Okay, so it's August Hart, who is from the future as well.
Yeah.
Except that now Godspeed might not be that person, and he has his own
cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To some degree. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes, because that's probably going to be part of season 7, which has
it has to be, isn't it?
But interesting. Because
in this season,
I want to say they kind of wrapped up his storyline in his particular episodes. It was Nora that got him arrested and whatever. Yeah. But now it might not be that singular part. You know, there might be more to it.
Yeah, there will be.
Because I think it'd be the beginning of season 6. Barry catches a couple of
Cicada clone, not Cicada, sorry, Godspeed clones.
Yeah, and then he's like, and he references something like, this is the 3rd or 4th one or something.
Yeah, this is the 4th one we found in a month or something like that.
Yeah, so they I'm intrigued to see where that's going.
Is it this season where Caitlin finds out her dad's icicle?
Yes.
Yeah, and then she has to kill him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was quite manipulative, though.
Yeah, man, he was a dick.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, it was okay, like some good episodes and some.
It was a strong season.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you sort of felt for Cicada, because like when they showed the backstory and stuff, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense why he's
also. But then again, I think they did a pretty good job of introducing Nora.
Yeah,
because by the time she gets wiped out of the timeline,
yeah,
you're like, oh, that's like Reverse Flash. Barry needs to just punch you across the face again.
No, he should just snap his neck at this point. Just snap his neck, dude.
He caused him to wipe out his own daughter.
Yeah,
like, oh, you bastard.
That was
you bastard. Just so you could escape your prison, you just basically wiped out the future of, someone's child.
Yeah, but she'll be back, I guess.
Maybe we'll just have to see. Maybe. Well, yeah, that's the problem, is it, with how the timeline's work in the Flash? Because he could kind of
easily stop that from happening.
Point, but
yeah.
There
was another.
Sorry.
Going back to his daughter, I'm guessing because they're smart, what they'll do is she's quote unquote dead. But then when they do have kids, it's going to be the twins, isn't it? The tornado twins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's sort of them writing themselves out of that hole.
We'll have to kind of see how that works. I
Yeah,
guess.
because I could see the Flash. They will stick more with like comic book stuff rather, like we said with Arrow, where they don't care, they do what they sort of want. But I think with Flash, they'll stay more to the like plan out they have for it.
Yeah, we'll have to see because
we'll
the Tornado Twins was Dawn and Dawn.
Yeah. Who's actually that's his daughter because Excess is really his granddaughter.
Yeah.
And cousin to Bart.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to circle that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say it's murky or anything like that, but just when you're recording off the top of your head, you kind of
you remember these things. You're like, oh yeah, that's a headache.
Yeah. So yeah. What did you think of season 6?
Season 6
is like the first half is blood work, and the second half was
Crisis / Mirror Master.
Yeah.
Or Mirror Family, we'll say.
Mirror Mistress, right?
Yeah, because they're both in it. So Mirror. The Mirror Family.
That's not her actual name, but I'm just differentiating between the female and male versions of the Mirror Master. So let's first half of the season. What did you think? I thought the guy playing Bloodwork was actually did pretty good.
He did pretty. I really liked him because he's from Heroes.
Yeah. You know, he's actually American.
Is he actually? Yeah, he is. Yeah. I remember hearing him in his real accent. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I've only ever seen I think most of the stuff I've seen him in.
Yeah, he's been English.
Yeah.
He's been English. He has been.
Funny enough, I think Bloodwork was created in the comics
in
around this time.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's like the third arc in the Rebirth stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's rather new.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, fair enough, I guess. There was not a huge amount of backstory and stuff like that, but they kind of altered his abilities and then readjusted certain things to make him the villain for the first half of that season, which was pretty good because he was like, he was just trying to save people-ish that have a genetic sort of disorder.
And he had reasons.
Yeah.
But then
he experimented on himself because he also had it, and then he's like, "I can save the world from death." Delusions of grandeur sort of thing. It's like, it was kind of a noble thing.
Yeah,
but then it got out of control. So it was like, okay, fair enough. He's not a straight out villain.
No,
he had a decent enough background. And you're like, yeah, it's just gone a bit too. Just going.
Yeah, you can sympathize with him. Like, I can see where he's coming from, but
he's just a bit too committed.
Yeah.
That
was a good part.
And I did like how they broke it into the pre-crisis season and the post-crisis season, because then like maybe something will happen to Barry, not that he'll die or whatever, right? But he could because of the way they were writing.
Yeah. It made you believe like maybe they might actually pull the trigger on old Bazzers, but but when they announced that like season 7's coming halfway through, you're like, yeah, they're not going to kill him.
Yeah, unless season 7 is going to be about Wally West.
no, he was checked out at that point.
Yeah,
because I don't think he made an appearance after season 5.
Yeah, and it's a shame they didn't. I don't know if the actor decided he didn't want to stay in Legend of Tomorrow because he was in a couple of episodes, and he probably should have just kind of stayed there to be a bit more relevant. But whatever.
Because I think, like, real reasons. I think he said he wanted to try different things. That's why he came out of.
He's an Australian, by the way. You know that.
Yeah, but that threw me off as well.
I don't think his accent slipped through much. I only point that out because you haven't seen Batwoman. But Ruby Rose is Australian, and sometimes her accent slips.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I think it's more when she's acting the more dramatic scenes.
Yeah,
and she's got to be angry or something. She kind of goes back to native Australian. Not that it's enough to ruin the season, but I'm just like pointing out.
Yeah, it kind of sometimes things like that can kind of take you out. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't say it mattered. In this case, I never thought this guy sounded Australian at any point, but maybe I wasn't listening to well enough.
Yeah, but to be fair, like you said, yeah, I don't ever remember him ever slipping.
Yeah. What did you think of the later half of the season?
The later half,
yeah,
was I really like later half because that's when they're sort of dealing with everything from Crisis. They're like, yeah. So there's all these new metas popped up.
Yeah, and because, then the mirror versions of Iris, which is kind of a sneaky little.
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, she was a sneaky one.
Yeah. You had her, then you had Gypsy died in this season as well, isn't it?
Is it this season or before this season?
I think it might be in this season.
No, was it? Well, yeah, they wrote her off. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they wrote her off. That was a pretty good episode, whatever season that was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that, and then the whole Sue Dibney stuff was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was she had a pretty cool storyline. I bet. Okay, she wasn't really Sue Dibney. She was more like the Catwoman.
Yeah.
To Elongated Man.
Yeah.
Oh, Black Cat / Catwoman. She was more of that.
Yeah, she's more of that than
actual Sue Dimby. But actual Sue Dimby doesn't have really much to do. So
yeah, exactly. So it's like we need to give her a character.
Yeah,
I like that. Also,
what I say about this season, is not it ended at a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
but more like I think it was meant to actually finish.
Yeah, because of the COVID stuff.
But because of what was going on, it couldn't. So it's like it's a bit odd to say critique everything without ending that's not actually there.
Yeah.
But I think they did conclude at a certain point where they're like, okay, we can say this is our unofficial ending, or officially our ending.
Yeah.
That we can hold off for the next 7 episodes to record when we start recording season 7.
Yeah, because I think
fine.
The first 2 episodes of season 7 is basically the last 2 episodes of season 6.
Yeah, wrapping it up, which is it's fine. But because there wasn't an ending on that, it was like, how do I see the season? It's like, well, I see it as slightly unfinished.
Yeah.
But the stuff that happened within that point was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Bits and pieces where it's like, oh, you're leading up to the point, but now
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold off for quite a bit of time until I see the end of that point. But hey,
they also brought in what's her name, Medallion Black.
Yeah,
she was hilarious. Katie Sokoff.
Oh yeah,
with her weird English accent.
Yeah.
What the love? You're like,
okay. Yeah. She's East London, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, like, it's kind of funny though. It wasn't like when I say funny, peculiar funny. It was just like, what? It
wasn't offensive funny.
Definitely.
Like us being English wasn't offensive or anything like that. And what else? I'm trying to think other great things from this season. Death of the Speed Force.
Yeah, I did like it as well. By the way, that they broke it into two sections.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like kept certain things in the. So you may see that season 1 villain, like your main first half of the season villain gets concluded, then you have another one, rather than a villain that runs through the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because then his backstory kind of overtakes every other villain that appears there.
Yeah.
So like it was good that they done it this particular season, and maybe they should have had, layers the earlier seasons. They could have just done like there's another sort of main villain ish. Like you got your main villain, your secondary villain, but another one who runs down the background as well.
Yeah. Also, they didn't kill off Bloodworks because they set him up for more, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's in prison and he's like, I could leave this place, but I'm not going to. Trick up my sleeve.
Evil laugh,
Yeah, like.
What?
And Ragdoll was weird.
Yeah, I mean they had remember I want to say Adam Copeland, your buddy Edge.
Yeah, my dad.
In a season 2 episode as
Atom Smasher, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so weird as well. And Goldberg.
Goldberg?
How do we forget about Goldberg?
What was he? I remember he was there, but...
In one of the seasons, when Barry goes to prison.
Oh, yeah.
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 Old Billy was there.
Yeah, he looks after Barry, right?
Yeah, because Barry's dad saved him when he got shanked one time.
Yeah.
Something weird and convoluted.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to get out of prison because of other stupid reasons. It's Goldberg, so everything's stupid.
Yeah. But he wasn't super powered. It's not like he could just, for example, spear himself out of the wall or something like that.
No, that was it. He knew he was innocent, but he didn't fight the case for some dumb reason. Yeah. Moron.
Yeah. I do think overall... Okay, so not as a problem with the series, but okay. So in the comics, Green Arrow and Barry Allen... Oliver Queen and Barry Allen.
Yeah.
They're not like besties buds, right? Their common friend is Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
And they're friends because of their friends, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and because they couldn't do the Green Lantern here.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. I mean, it would have been neat to have like Hal Jordan here to be the buddy that links these two guys together.
Yeah.
However, whatever licensing issues or something like that, hey. And they probably couldn't pull off a Green Lantern series.
No.
Budget that you need to do all those special effects.
Yeah.
So, it would have been quite expensive. But, it'd be cool to have Hal Jordan make an appearance now and then. However, it was neat that John Diggle is now officially kind of Green Lantern.
Yeah, sort of. Who knows? Yeah, it's like... We'll leave it ambiguous.
Well, okay. We didn't mention this in our Green Arrow episode previous, but Ernie Hudson played John Diggle's
something
stepdad.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Sergeant Stewart or something like that, right? And so he would have been John Stewart.
Yeah.
But Diggle had beef with General Stewart or whatever, and that's why he didn't take his surname in that universe. But in another universe, like the one where Barry Allen from the 90s came from, he did take his name, and he was John Stewart there, and Green Lantern.
Oh,
you remember that episode?
I remember the whole John Stewart thing. I was like, "Ha!"
Oh, no,
I see.
I say you remember the episode, but let me point out, you never officially saw John Stewart as Green Lantern. It's that when
John Diggle,
90s Barry Keaton from the speed warp in Elseworlds.
Yeah.
He looks at John Diggle and he says, "John, where's your ring?"
Oh, I don't remember that.
Okay.
I might have to watch the crossovers again because I like.
We are going to watch the crossovers because we are going to do a separate episode on them.
Yeah, I want to actually watch them.
So you'll probably remember it afterwards.
Yeah. Oh snap! I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Overall, though, I did like the Flash. I did like that the fact they they could go to alternate worlds and different things will be different there.
Yeah.
Some of the alternate worlds were unexplored, but hey.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's neat that he was a crossover character like that jumped into Supergirl.
Yeah, and then I like the relationship between him and Supergirl. That's pretty like brother sistery. I'm like, that's so cute.
Yeah. They were cool together. Their dynamics are different.
Yeah.
Say Barry and Oliver.
And I even liked Barry's relationship with Oliver. I thought that was pretty good. I know.
I do also as well think that it's kind of neat that Gypsy and I was going to say Reverb, but there's no Reverb in that one.
Verb.
Sorry?
Vibe.
So a Vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Have basically a relationship across universes. Fair enough, kind of funny, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, okay.
Because they could breach, it was like, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Kind of makes sense.
And Danny Trejo as her dad, it was like, all right, okay.
That popped me, not gonna lie. And the whole Jesse Quick Wally relationship, I thought that was quite cute until she's like, I don't like traveling through dimensions anymore. Yeah. Let's break up.
Also, that Jay Garrick they did that episode, I think in the middle of season 3 or 4, where the three of them had to resolve something, and there was like a bomb that was going to go off in like 10 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was into the Speed Force. I think the episode was called.
Yeah.
And between the three of them kind of slowed down time.
Yeah.
Well, they ride super fast, just so they could have them more time to plan between what they were going to do.
Yeah.
And because he was older, he couldn't keep up.
Because that's when it all... Oh, yeah, when he's like, I can't do this no more, and just went back to normal time, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
That was cool. But then he also mentioned he was training someone, I think. But you never see that person anymore. The person he was saying, "Oh, I'm training some sort of someone to take on my legacy," and then you never see who it is because they did the crisis, I think, and then they just kind of wiped out that storyline because Earth 3 is no longer Earth 3.
But didn't they fix it all?
Yeah. But Earth 3 is now a different Earth 3.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what they did, but not all, they changed the world, but some of the worlds are different from the previous world.
Yeah, because some of the worlds basically just merged into Earth Prime.
Yeah.
So basically, they took the good, like I did in the comics, they take the good things and just bung it in that world, and everything else is just it's Earth 11, 12 or whatever. Yeah.
I do. We could speak about Crisis when we do the episode about the crossovers. I mean, there's bits I liked. There's bits that it was a bit odd, but let's not do that. Let's not do that here. No. Even though this is part of time traveling, dimension hopping, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, I think all the cast was great in Arrow. Who would your
Arrow? You mean Flash?
Flash, same. It's not the same thing. Who is your favorite character besides obviously the main character of Barry?
Well, you know what though, I have to say sometimes he does stuff that you like. Barry, just stop it, man. Stop
being a little baby.
Yeah, not baby. Stop mucking about with time.
Yeah, literally. Haven't you realized by now? Going back in time and changing things doesn't help.
Yeah. I do like John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
As the variant versions of everyone that he plays.
Yeah.
He's pretty neat. And Tom Cavanagh when he's playing the different worlds as well.
Yeah.
They're more acting abilities, if you know what I mean, because they're
not
so different.
Yeah.
Leonard Snart, Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold was a good villain as well.
Yeah. And Heatwave, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Dominic, I forgot his name.
Purcell?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. He's great when he was as Heatwave.
Yeah.
Iris, I can get behind. I like her. And the actress play, she's pretty good. Joe.
The thing is, sometimes sometimes because they're in all these episodes, sometimes they get things that are like, you're thinking, okay, maybe the character won't do, but the actor or the actress who plays that person is like, well, this is what's written, and I kind of like have to do my best to pull this off, even though sometimes it's so like causing relationship issues for the sake of it, maybe.
Yeah. It's like the same problem we said about Arrow. Sometimes the melodrama, like in Flash, I can expect the melodrama stuff because it's sort of based around that, you know what I mean? But sometimes it goes a bit too, like, why are we doing this argument? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Why are we beefing? Simply because we are.
Yeah, just because and then it's written down.
5 episodes later, we're going to be besties and work out our issues, you know?
Yeah. That's the only... But like I said, I can tolerate that in Flash, other than I can't in
I actually think Mark Hamill did pretty good as a Trickster as well.
Yeah.
And he was playing...
Callback.
When he's playing Earth 3 Trickster, he was basically the Joker.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's not weird.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of neat how they had some of the old characters make reappearances of different characters.
Yeah.
Tina Mcgill, I think her name is.
Who did she play?
No, not Tina, the actress. The character. The character, sorry. Damn it, I forgot. She was in the 90s Flash.
Oh. Yeah. I know you're talking about. I forgot the character's name. I know you're talking about. It's a 90s Flash. Like, that's who you're talking about. Yeah.
The fact that she came back as well.
Yeah.
As her same character. This is Amanda Pays came back as Tina Mcgill, I believe. McGee, Tina McGee.
McGee.
Yeah. That's why the other thing is, it's like some people come back as the exact name character, but a different version of that character.
Yeah.
And then other people, alternate universes, not everyone looks the same, even though sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Mainly I see in Crisis where the Superman look like there's three different versions of the guy.
Which, like, when you think about it, it does make sense that happening.
Yeah. Because it's infinite worlds.
Yeah.
And some worlds, some people look alike, some worlds, people look different. And kind of, fair enough.
Because they sort of do the same. This is a random callback, but remember I was telling you about the death of Earth 2 Superman?
Yes.
Yeah, not Earth 2, sorry. New 52 Superman.
Yeah.
They look completely different, but there's slight little things to make them look the same, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it makes sense for, like, different dimension people to be the same character, but look slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how they've done that in...
Well, it's the world of television entertainment media. Not everyone, you're going to have to... You kind of make these allowances and let it slide.
Yeah. If not, you're going to have a bad time in life. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So that overall, it's like... I'd say most of the seasons are mostly pretty good.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get kind of like the odd thing where you're like,
melodrama
for the sake of melodrama.
But I'll say with The Flash, it's not like you get that like a few episodes in the season or whatever. But like with Arrow, you can get a whole season. You're like, this is kind of a drag until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see why people watch The Flash more than Arrow.
Yeah. Well, because it's more, I say, more superpower based as well.
Yeah.
Different people have different abilities and stuff like that, and how he overcomes them with his speed based abilities. And all the enemies could have different type of, like Weather Wizard's the weather.
Yeah.
Cap Cold has got the ice. Heatwave has got the heat. Golden Glider's got that funny little gold blending device
thing. I don't really know her powers. I've never understood her powers, even in the comics.
Yeah. But it's different. Logically speaking, yes, he could just run up and punch someone out before they react. But you can't have that happening all the time.
No.
Because when he goes off, say a villain escapes, right? You could just really search the entire area.
Yeah, you could. In like a blink of an eye, but
before they've done anything, like got away, but they
but there's no drama in that.
Did they? I can't recall offhand. Did they ever use the turtle?
I'm looking. There was someone who called himself the Turtle too, but I don't remember the Turtle ever being in the show.
The Turtle in the comics, for people that don't know, now has because I don't think previously had the ability to slow down time.
No.
Or time in his certain vicinity.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if they used him. He could have been like a key villain.
Yeah.
For the Flash, but hey, maybe they did use him. I'm gonna have a quick look. Talk while I quickly Wikipedia this stuff.
Yeah, go for it. Like also, like I said before, and I don't even said this before, with the Flash as well, I'm more tolerant with character changes they make as well.
Yeah.
Or like stuff to streamline it more, to make it less complicated. Like instead of Wally being Iris's nephew, make her brother, because it makes more sense in how they've done it. Because how is she, someone who's like in her mid-20s, we'll say, have a teenage nephew? You know what I mean? So it made sense for it to be her brother. Yeah. Even though the circumstances of her brother kind of made no sense.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just going to quickly... So there's two versions of the Turtle.
Okay.
Right? In the Flash.
Yeah.
One was the male version was a guy who could drain potential kinetic energy from his surroundings, yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
Sapping their speed.
Yeah.
And I think the female version could create time bubbles to slow down within that area. Something like that.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. But you're saying, yeah, okay. Now, what's the oddity in? So you're talking about the new 52 version or the original version of Iris West that has a nephew that was Wally West?
Both.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
Well, yeah. We don't know how much older her older brother was.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible. But like in this series, it would be not impossible. But it wouldn't make sense all of a sudden. Oh yeah, I have an older brother.
Yeah.
Like, and also you can easily do. Oh yeah, by the way, you have a younger brother that you don't know about.
Yeah.
It's easy to explain.
Yeah.
And you got an older brother who also has a child who's about 5 years younger than you. You know what I mean? It's like, it makes no sense.
Yeah. But it's kind of that the alterations I see. Do you think?
Yeah.
The comics version was altered because of the TV version.
I think that was synergy because I think around that time, just before the Flash, they sort of introduced there was rumblings about making Wally black.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I didn't. Okay, so I want to say when I was looking at it, I mean Iris West was white in the comics.
Yeah,
and I know they cast Candice
Payton.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, right, okay, it's fair. It doesn't affect the comics in any way. But when it's like Wally West suddenly is black in the comics, and like, wait a minute, but if she's white in the comics, then how did she have a black nephew? That's a bit weird.
Well, half black or whatever. But
yeah. But exactly. It was like, right, and then he appears as black in the series. I'm like, right, okay, fair enough. I guess they introduced him in the series, and I mean the way I was looking at it is like, I guess it only makes sense to make it. I mean, they can't make him white and ginger in the series now. He's already, Iris West is already black.
Yeah, well, they could do time shenanigans where, oh, you have an older brother who's also called Wallace.
Walter.
But he's white. You know what I mean?
I know it'd have been too strange. It'd have been just
But
I don't want to say they wrote themselves in the corner. They obviously they're not going to do the thing where like in the Josh Trank's Fantastic Four where Johnny Storm is black and then suddenly he has a blonde white adopted sister.
Yeah.
Like that is just really odd.
Yeah. Like for that they could explain like that whole Fantastic Four thing. They could explain that a bit more better. But so you can tell.
Sorry?
The comics, the program influenced the comics, or whatever, vice versa, whatever.
Did you realize? You might not have realized, but so they had Linda Park there.
Yeah.
Who was Dr. Light in Earth 2. But they also had the very first episode, the pilot.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is technically as well when Barry Allen was in Arrow, coming back to Central C, and the lightning struck him. Yeah. They did have a Linda Park being a reporter.
Boy, yeah, I remember that. I popped up.
Technically speaking, they have two Linda Parks.
Yeah.
In the same universe. One is like 10 years younger than the other, but whatever, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I found that kind of funny. I mean, I know they kind of snuck it in for an Easter egg, but then.
Yeah, then it kind of later on you're like,
different actress as the actual character.
Yeah.
What did you think of Patty Spivot in season 2?
I like Patty.
Yeah, I was just like, they kind of wait. The actress was cool.
Yeah.
And it was just like, but she kind of exited the season kind of a bit, not weirdly, but
they didn't really wrap it up, did they?
Yeah. It was like, she was just a love interest for the season. That seems kind of a waste of the character that they because it gave someone for Barry to hook up with while Iris was still in two minds about getting with Barry.
Yeah, her brother. Yeah.
But it's just like, oh, but this actress actually, is playing her role really well.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, okay, but maybe she played it too well, and they were like, well, we need Barry and Iris to get together.
Yeah. We need to
Because
get
that's
rid
our
of
end
you
game.
somehow.
So, we're gonna have to do something to get rid of this lady. Just write her out.
Yeah, like if they wrote her out properly, like she died or she decided, you know what, I don't want to live in Central City because it's pretty crappy.
Yeah.
Then like boom, good. All right, you've written her out. But no, she literally was just gone.
Yeah, take the train and leave.
Yeah. Didn't leave a note.
But she was cool. She was like, yeah.
She was really good. I liked her.
Yeah, I mean, there was more potentially they could have done with her. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's so much more they could have done.
But you know what? Okay, you never watched it, right? You never watched Spartacus.
Nope.
But there was quite a lot of actors because it was filmed in Australia.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of actors that leaked over into the CW series. What's funny is Stephen. So the guy playing Spartacus, Andy Whitfield. He had Hodgkin's lymphoma, so he died of cancer at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
They were casting his replacements.
Yeah.
No, he didn't die at the end, like before season 2 started filming, because they had filmed an interim series.
Yeah.
And Stephen Amell
Yeah.
was one of the runners-up that would have could have got the role of Spartacus.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And what's funny is Liam McIntyre, who did get the role of Spartacus, looks nothing like Andy Whitfield, but he got cast as Weather Wizard in The Flash.
Oh snap!
And then there was Manu Bennett, who was in Spartacus as well.
Yeah.
He played Deathstroke here.
Vigilante.
Who played Captain Boomerang was in.
That's a wasted character.
But he was in Spartacus as well.
Yeah.
And I think what's the lady? I forgot. Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Was also in Spartacus.
Oh yeah, she dies as well, don't she? In
Spartacus?
No, in Arrowverse, Waller dies.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's a bit. They got quite a lot of crossover from those people.
That's funny because that woman who played Amanda Waller, if I remember correctly, she was in Shooter, the TV show.
I haven't seen that.
Based on the film Shooter.
Right.
Sort of like whatever. And the woman who played Patty Selvig, she was also in that.
Right.
Random connection right there. Small world.
Yeah.
Small world.
Would you? Okay. So, what kind of would you what seasons would you say the standout that you would recommend people to watch? Or maybe particular episodes of seasons that you didn't like as well for people to. But you obviously not going to have to call every single season because there's over 100 episodes and you're gonna be like, ugh.
Oh. Season 1, obviously, because
most the majority of season 1 for the storyline of the Man in Yellow Suit, because there's bound to be some episodes which aren't so good, but the background running through it is kind of relevant, so you can't exactly. I don't want to say skip, but
yeah. So season 1,
yeah.
Season 3, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say parts of season 2 and parts of season 3.
Yeah, right. The back end of season 2, I'll say.
Yeah.
And maybe the back end of season 3.
Yeah. You don't think season 4 was that good?
Season 4 again. The back end of season 4.
Parts of season 4, but me too. I was like, yeah. How about season 5?
If you're a hardcore Flash fan, I'll say watch season 5.
Yeah. The whole thing, right? It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like some of these, what you're saying about season 3 and 4, you can probably watch individual episodes.
Yeah.
But kind of like we were saying about season 1, season 5 is similar in the vein of there's a long running backstory about everything.
Yeah. Especially if you're watching season 4. Lots of that playing season 5, like i.e. the excess stuff, because she has a little random appearances in that.
Yeah. Suddenly, funny enough, I'd say you can watch section. You can watch season 6 in 2 different sections.
Yeah, literally. Because they both start like afresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in conclusion, What would you
Yes.
say is the best costumes he had in the entire all the series? Look, rank the list of the costumes and then we'll close out.
All right. It's gonna be a very weird order.
Okay.
It's probably gonna go backwards, really.
Sorry?
6,
Yeah. Yep.
4.
Yep.
Uh,
Probably 2, right? 2 with
2,
the white
yeah.
lightning bolt. Yep.
Yeah.
And then season 1.
1.
And then probably last we'd say season 5 because the helmet looks a bit funny.
Yeah,
on
it
the
just looks
fabric
weird.
costume.
Yeah. It threw me off.
Yeah.
You know when it threw me off
I
the
agree
most?
with your...
When he swapped places with Arrow.
Yeah.
And that's when it threw me off even more. I was like, yeah, that looks
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. I did like it as well, how the costume was getting lighter
Yeah.
in reds through the seasons. Because it was like... I would want to say he was probably a more inspirational hero at that point. But he established his reputation and... Yeah. The bright colors kind of suited. It's not out of place in that world. Like in Green Arrow, it's dark and it's.
It makes sense for him to have like a dark green costume in Green Arrow. Yeah.
And here it makes sense for him to have a bright colored costume because they're a hero during the daytime.
And people like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The savior of Central City or whatever, however they're going to phrase it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yep. So that is this particular episode on the CW series The Flash.
Yeah.
Next episode, we will cover. Well, you haven't watched. So I've seen Supergirl, Batwoman, and Legend of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen all of these, right?
No, I've seen Legends and Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And bits and pieces of both Batgirl and Supergirl, like crossover. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you've seen Black Lightning, but I have. So we will probably not speak as much about those series.
Yeah.
Maybe we will try and wrap them all up in one episode, but then we'll do another episode on the crossovers.
Yeah, because that needs its own little thing there.
Yeah. So I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best ever will be. CY Chung.
And I am the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Don't sue me, Kyle Charles.
Yeah. Thanks for taking a trip around the multiverse with us.
And see you on Earth 2.